Most goal setting assumes you need to fix yourself. Well, that's me puking in my mouth a little bit because I think it's gross. Your next level is already in you. During New Year's, we're just trying to clean out some of the noise so the badass in you can get in the driver's seat and go.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. I love New Year's. I don't even know if I've told you that, but I think it's my favorite holiday. And not because I physically necessarily do anything different, but it's like reflecting on the past year and the year to come. And that just makes me happy. So the part about New Year's that I don't like is like the cringe part of goal setting, the part that's like, you need to fix yourself. There's something wrong with you. New year, new you. Nope, get rid of it. I'm full of sounds today. But it's like, gone are the days where I am going to feel bad about myself. Gone are the days where I'm going to make myself bad or wrong or to feel crappy for the mistakes that I've made. Like, of course, yeah, there's a time and a place when you make a mistake, you're going to feel bad. But like, to beat myself up, I'm done. I'm done with it. I've mentioned on this podcast before this quote from Tracy Litt, who is an author, and it really just impacted me. She's like, I am no longer available for being against myself. Let that sink in. You're no longer available for being against yourself. So whatever got you to this point today, shoot, I think it's pretty good. You're here listening to this podcast, but stop making it a bad thing. Stop making it wrong, or stop being like, I didn't get all the things done. Well, cool. You have 2026. It brought you to where you are today. Oftentimes we have to go through things for a reason, even if we can't see what's behind it, or there's a season for everything. And so like, our job is to get out of our own way. So like, let's forget the January of just the loud energy, the fixing everything, trying to be perfect, of beating up on ourselves for our mistakes. Heck, day 1, day 2, you already dropped your New Year's resolution and you're like, I feel so crappy. I only lasted 2 hours. Well, guess what? That's life. I did that with my diet. And so, okay, I'm going to start again. It doesn't mean I have to be done for the year just because I made a mistake. Give yourself grace. I think the real work is just like interrupting patterns that don't serve us anymore. But we don't have to reinvent our personality. We don't have to be somebody new. We just pull out what's really inside of us and we tap into that strong part of us that we all have. And we try to bring her out more, that badass version of ourselves. Yeah, I want more of her. Let me see her more often, please. And that is our job. To tap into the badass part of ourselves and to quit making all the other parts of ourselves, the parts that feel ordinary, to quit making that wrong or bad. It's like, no, that's part of it too. If we didn't have the ordinary, then we wouldn't have the badass, right? Because if we were badass 24/7 all the time, then we wouldn't even think it was badass. It would be the new normal. Okay, let's get into the segments. What felt ordinary and what felt badass? Oh man, there's a lot that has felt ordinary lately. Don't judge me. So I've been making changes in my business and I have a business coach and I'm super excited, but the holidays are hard. It's like so much stuff is going on. It's hard to balance it all, right? And so it just felt very ordinary because I'd fall into my old business habits or fall into the old habits of doing things, not the way that I want to be doing them, because it's just a pattern, right? And I have to find a way to break the pattern. But like we talked about a minute ago, got to give myself grace. So for me, my pattern is always creating new things like, oh, let me create this. Let me create this. But then I forget to sell, which would have the possibility to make it a hobby. So obviously I need to sell as well as create. But it's all fun. It's all learning. It's like this whole business thing has felt so out of my comfort zone. I think I've told the story on here a time or two, but 10 years ago, it probably wasn't even 10 years ago, probably 7. I was at I almost said barbecue, not a barbecue. I was at a garage sale at my mom's house, and I was mortified to have to talk to people coming to the garage sale to have to sell. How much selling really do you have to do at a garage sale? None. People either don't want it or they don't. But like my sister was doing all the talking to people when they arrived, saying hello. And then she got up and was like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom and I'm going to make something to eat in the kitchen. Okay, what am I supposed to do? And I remember feeling so incredibly awkward and anxious for her to get back. And I didn't want to talk to people when they got there. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, I'm going to ruin this. I felt like I had to sell. You don't have to sell at a garage sale, but the whole thing was so awkward, so uncomfortable for me. So uncomfortable for me. And so like I think it's funny, it's comical now. Like, okay, yes, we grow, we can learn. Like now I have to sell, right? So in comparison, I'm doing fine. I'm doing a good job. And sometimes we have to remember that, like, okay, just because I still have growing pains, just because of bumps along the way, doesn't mean that I'm wrong, doesn't mean that I'm bad. I'm just learning. We expect kids to learn. Why wouldn't we learn as adults? But yes, the business part of things, fun and old habit that definitely felt very ordinary. Okay, so I gotta confess, for this episode, I wanted to create a workbook and I didn't finish it. It's like I have it. It's not done. It's not how I want it to be. So I'm not going to put it out there to the world. Maybe next year, maybe next episode we release, I'll have it ready. Tune in on the grams at Ordinary to Badass on Instagram and see if maybe I release it before then. I don't know. Still haven't decided. Maybe it'll be next year. But I was super excited about it because it was, I don't know. Like I said, I love New Year's, but I just didn't get it done. Like family time, other things took precedent and time got away from me. So that felt very ordinary. It's just that feeling or that voice that comes in sometimes being like, you should be further ahead right now. I don't know. Can you relate to that? I feel like during the holidays, that's easy to like let that haunt us or get in our head that we should be doing more when there's a billion things going on. And it's like the holidays are usually about family. And what's more important than family? So I'm saying this, reminding myself, like, Marie, don't be so hard on yourself. You spent time with family. You did good. And sometimes we need those reminders. Okay, what felt badass? I got to tell you about this one because I'm so stinking excited about it. I created a 2026 vision board. I've only done a vision board once before, and it was fine. I just didn't feel like it looked very good. I have a creative mind, but not always like putting it on paper. Am I good? Or like drawing things, that kind of thing. Not always great at that. But this was so awesome. I have to tell you what I did because I want you to do it too. So what I did is I took like 3 pictures of me and I uploaded them to Chat GPT. And then I said, okay, I just started listing things that I wanted. I don't know how ChatGPT works, but I just do one at a time, like one thing that I want at a time. Once it creates that, I'm like, okay, now create me here. Now create this. Now create that. So like I had it create a picture of me in an RV. One was of me driving an RV because I want one coming into my life. Another one was me sitting at the table with the RV with my dog Sadie sitting right next to me. And then the laptop and then the amount of money that I could envision myself have coming in a day and a beautiful view outside. So like I could work remotely. So I had it generate that picture and it was pretty cool. And it just made me happy. And I had it me speaking in front of stadiums of people or theaters of people. And that was fun too. Or me reading letters from people from Ordinary to Badass telling me about their experience. And it just made me so happy. And then I created a separate vision board and I had it create pictures for traveling because I love traveling. So I'm like, show me in Africa on a safari. Show me in Greece. And then it would put pictures of me in different places. Show me flying first class, but with like sleeping room. And so it's things that I'm imagining for myself, like the life that I want to live, but it was so stinking exciting. And so initially I thought, okay, take these pictures, print them off at Walgreens, right? And then as I did that, I went to Walgreens posters and started looking at that because you can do stuff with your photos and have them, and you can have them put your photos onto a poster. So I found a poster that said collage. And so I had Walgreens create my vision board for me. And so when I got them, I was so stinking excited. And you can even like put sayings on the vision board still that Walgreens created for you, or the poster they created for you, or put stickers, put whatever you want, quotes, sayings, anything. But like for me, somebody that struggles with putting on paper what I have in my head, the printing of photos is fine and I would have done it and still been happy, but like this felt like it looked more like I wanted it to look. And so I was pretty pumped about that. So instead of like having to visualize something in my head, I now have a visual representation of the things that I want to accomplish in my life. And that made me pretty stinking excited. Okay, something that I like to do during New Year's is figure out what I want to stop doing, what I want to continue doing, and what I want to start doing. So, like, I want to stop over creating or stop treating sales like it's something that I'll just eventually get to, or stop assuming that more ideas equals more progress. Stop trying to be busy all the time. Like, go, 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 do, 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 and just be. Just be with it, right? Just trust that I'm going to create what I need to create, or I'm going to sell what I need to sell instead of constantly always being busy. What I want to continue doing. This is big. It's like, what did you do in 2025 that you want to continue doing in 2026? There were little seeds of success or big seeds of success. Heck, maybe it grew into a tree, but there's things you did in 2025 that you probably want to replicate in 2026. What are those things? And I didn't say this, but I suggest you write these down because it's so important, because we can think things in our head. And I do this all the time. Like I'll listen to a podcast or something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. And I run through things in my head, but I never write it down and I never review it again. So then the change doesn't happen. It's just a good idea. And I forget about it. Let's be honest. If I don't write something down, then I'm totally going to forget about it. So for me, trusting my intuition is huge. Like that's what I want to continue doing. I've really leaned into it the past couple years, but I want to lean into that even more. Start trusting my experience and creating more content and more information from that lived experience. I also want to continue to just be direct and to the point and say things simply instead of trying to overcomplicate them. There is enough complication in this world. We don't need it. What do you want to start doing in 2026? What's something that you didn't do in 2025, but you want to start doing in 2026? Write it down. Like for me, okay, start selling with intention. Maybe start having or focusing on fewer ideas, but having deeper execution. Let one focus drive the year. This year, actually, I set an intention. And that intention was more about following my intuition. But side story, like intentions are huge. And one time I was in hot yoga. And at the beginning of every single class, the instructor would say, set an intention for your experience here. Set an intention for your class. So I was like, okay, cool. Love myself. And I said that because I get in front of that mirror sometimes at hot yoga and I can be so hard on myself and like compare my body to somebody who's super fit. And I then start to judge myself and beat myself up because I see what they look like and that's not what I look like. So this particular time, I just said, love yourself. And so throughout that class, I just reminded myself, nope, you said you're going to love yourself. This is what we're going to do. And so when I would try to beat myself up or I would start those thoughts in my head, I would remind myself, nope, love yourself. I didn't even go down the rabbit hole like I usually would. And it felt so stinking good. So I'm like, okay, what if I can do that for 2026? What if I can set an intention for how I want my year to go? And then just try to stay in that parameter of that intention, right? And sometimes merely by setting the intention and, of course, writing it down, then that can guide our year. Because it's like, no, I intend to trust my intuition. And then it's interesting how often we actually do that just because we set an intent or just because we set an intention. So don't be afraid to set an intention for 2026. Okay, here's the other thing is the proof vault. We all know I have the journal, the Proof of My Badassery guided journal. You can find it on Amazon. Short little plug there because it's so freaking awesome, if I do say so myself. Yeah, but here's the thing. We need proof that we are a total badass. And if we're not writing it down, if we're not collecting receipts, then we're going to miss it. We're going to think like, oh, we dropped the ball when we didn't. We just forgot to celebrate all of our wins. So you need this proof vault for the days where your brain gets dramatic, where you go down a rabbit hole, where you feel pretty crappy and you're like, something's got to change. But you know what? Every day you don't feel like that. So have something to go back to, something to prove to yourself that you're doing a good job. So the proof vault, it just captures your receipts, the good things that you're doing, all the ways that you're winning. It reminds you of who you are when that doubt gets loud. And it stops that spiral of thinking that you're horrible or all you're doing is making mistakes. It stops you from beating yourself up because we all have those days. But then we need something to go back to look at, to be like, oh yeah, I am doing a good job. So you can keep this on a notes app on your phone. At work, maybe you have an email folder for every time somebody gives you a compliment. You just drop that email into the folder. So maybe you spoke up at work when you didn't feel comfortable speaking up, or you don't usually speak up. Maybe you said something in a meeting and you gave some input. You helped another coworker out when they were struggling. That's freaking awesome. That is badass. Or you got a compliment from a client, from your boss, from a coworker. And if you didn't get it by email, that's fine. Still, go back and write it down on paper, in the notes app in your phone, wherever you want to put it, but capture that compliment. And you know what? Confidence isn't something that just comes overnight. It's not something that some people have and some people don't have. Yeah, it's true. Some people are more confident than others, but often we just don't see all that work that goes in behind the scenes. Like, I have come a long way. You would have seen me 5, 7, 10 years ago and you'd have been like, oh my goodness. Like, never would I have thought about having a podcast. I wouldn't have talked on here, been on video, any of the things. I wouldn't have ever shown my picture. I didn't even take pictures, let alone be on social media. And so it's like you can change even though things are uncomfortable. Sometimes the things that make you most uncomfortable are a sign that you need to change. Or like it makes you uncomfortable because you want it so bad, right? So think of discomfort as a good thing. If we're not feeling uncomfortable, something's wrong. This discomfort means, oh, I'm stepping to the next level. I'm doing something that's hard. I'm not going to let that stop me. That is very badass. So confidence isn't just going to come overnight, but it does help to have your receipts, to have your proof that you're a badass of all the cool ass things that you have done. And if you don't take time to document it, if you're anything like me, you'll forget. So have that proof, have that evidence for the days where it is tough, for the days where you feel like quitting, for the days where you're beating yourself up and where you think that you're doing, like you can do no right. Have proof of your badassery, of all the good things you've done. Because I already know you're listening to this podcast, you are doing a good job. You are a high achiever. Give yourself some grace, give yourself some credit. So I don't think it's a bad idea, and I haven't done this too much, but I plan on it. It's like have a quarterly reset. That's one thing I did this year is I started planning out each quarter of the year. I've never done that. I wrote it in my calendar. I have a physical calendar and I'm writing the dates that I'm doing things and when I want things to be done and just doing a lot more planning than I've ever done. But okay, what are your goals for each quarter? I was listening, I think it was the Mel Robbins podcast, and she had a guest on there that was saying, find times that are motivating to you. Sometimes a Monday can be motivating. It's not just January 1st, right? There's times throughout the year. Look for your anniversary. That's a good time to get motivated. You can have your anniversary in your relationship if you're in one. You can have an anniversary at work where you start setting goals for work and for your work anniversary. There's also birthdays. Birthdays are a good time for a reset. So pick times throughout the year that you'll use as a reset, that you'll use to reflect. And that's a good time to make a change or to pull you back out, right? Because you want to become more of her, that badass that is inside of you. You don't need to be like me. You don't need to be like anybody around you. Yeah, it's good to have mentors, but what you really need is just to tap back into that badass that's inside of you. So during these quarterly resets, you can ask yourself, where did I shrink? Where did I not show up as I wanted to? And don't look at these in a judgmental way. Just look at them like, okay, I'm just looking at the data. And then from the data, I'm going to decide how I want to move forward or what I want to tweak or possibly do differently. But you're not wrong for what you've done, right? There's just ways to tweak it and do better because we're always going to think we can improve. So where did you shrink? Where did you lead? Even if it was quietly, even if nobody else saw, what are the things you did that you're proud of? And then during that quarterly reset, ask yourself, what needs to stop, continue, or start? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to show up in December 2026 being like, wait, what happened? Where did my year go? What were my New Year's goals? I've done that so many times. And to be clear, I don't think goal setting is bad. I just don't want you, and I don't want it for me to do things to feel bad about myself. And so it's more of like improving who you are, working on your badass, bringing her more to the surface than it is picking on yourself or beating yourself up or thinking that you have to be a new person. No, you just need to be more of you. So you know what? As we're winding down, I want to talk about that workbook. It drives me bonkers. Like, yes, I wanted to give that to you. I wanted to have a workbook that you could use, that you could write these things down, that could make a huge impact for your 2026. But I didn't finish it. It just didn't happen. That used to make me feel extremely crappy about myself, and I would beat myself up and be so hard on myself for not getting something done that I wanted to get done. But you know what? Unfinished doesn't mean unworthy. I just took that data that I didn't get it done, and I'm like, okay, what can I do differently later? Or maybe I can get it out next year. I don't know. But I'm not going to make it mean that I did something wrong or that I'm a failure because I didn't do it, right? No, it's life. Life happens. Life will keep on lifing. So just noticing it, noticing that it didn't happen and I'd like for it to happen in the future, that's a change enough for me. Not beating myself up, I'll take it. Your next level isn't missing. You are right where you need to be. So if you do nothing else this week, just ask yourself, what's one pattern that I'd like to interrupt? What's proof that I already have that I can do it? What's proof that I'm a badass? When's the time before where I interrupted a pattern and did something differently? And when you're facing something hard, look back to your past. Your past shows what worked for you. And so if there's a time where you did something that felt really good, really badass, remember how confident you felt, at least at the end. And try to use that to the challenges you're going for today. Or what was a year where you felt really good? Try to remember that feeling now so you can take that into 2026 with you. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.